Greetings, everyone. Here we are with another Friday Night Live, November 26, 2021. Hello, Barbara. Let me just check here if this thing's working. Check here. Okay, looks like the sound's working. Amazing. And away we go. Another week's gone by. And we are still living in this crazy world, this crazy, beautiful world. Yeah, have some, what do you want to call it? Hardware issues tonight. Gonna have to figure out what's going on here. Looks like my wireless router is kaput, so I have to plug in directly in the modem. We'll see what we can find out later on. Always something with these electronic stuff. When you, I've gone through so many things, hard drives and computers and drives, and oh my God, modems and routers. And they just don't like to be in my presence, I guess. They just fry. It's pretty interesting. But what's happening, Barbara, on your end? Everything okay? You're muted.
Yeah, I'm here, so that's really a good thing. Of course, I don't have my red lipstick on or anything right now, but I'm on time. And yeah, really good things, have been happening.
Awesome. What's happening in Florida? Everything's wide open over there, I hear.
Yeah, really pretty much so. I mean, the people I know, they're not wearing masks and they're not, they're still getting together, as much as they can. So, those are my friends, my people. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
Not like the wackos we have running up this area up here. They're just complete whacked out demons. It's the stuff that's going on is just incredible. And if anybody's still buying into this nonsense, it's incredible. But anyway, everything happens exactly the way it's supposed to happen, or it wouldn't happen, right? Lessons for all of us to learn. And we keep going. We keep elevating these souls to peace, balance, correct conduct, so that they may be aware of their actions. And of course, we're all responsible at the end anyway.
Yeah. I keep listening to, Abraham Hicks, Esther Hicks talking about, it's about the vibration, that kind of law of attraction. We got to vibrate on a higher level. So we help share that. And I know that's part of my religious background too, that says that when you're really happy, when you're with your family and you're really loving them, you're dancing, you're singing, that's equal to time you would spend in prayer. It's the same thing that Napoleon Hill and Abraham Hicks, they're all saying that the things you would be praying for would be happening, that's what's important, us learning how to be happy, and how to love and how to help other people be happy.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Makes sense.
Being in the realm of happiness as much as we possibly can. We're going to have, I don't know if we can be there all the time because so many different situations happen in life, but we can do our best to be in that state as much as we can. I don't personally like to go into the vibration man-made theory stuff myself. A lot of people use that. If we want to use the vibration thing, I'm going to say we got to go in the lower vibration in this realm to connect to Mother Earth. If we go to the higher Luciferic realms, we disconnect with Mother Earth, and we go into the state of imbalance, is from my understanding. Yeah, you know, like we like to, we've talked about many times the harmonics of 432.
Yeah.
People use the Hertz ratio, but we like to use the number, because the number is the number of creation, divine 9. And that reference is used in frequencies, of course, and how they tune instruments and so on and so forth. And by going in the higher frequencies, it disconnects you from the earth, and it brings imbalances. There's many experiments that have been done, and so on and so forth. And we've done experiments, and we saw that the auric field of the physical body, which we can't see with the naked eye, shatters like glass when the higher up you go. So it opens you up to all kinds of negative influences, and is why it brings imbalance, from what we understand. We've shared those photos from those Curlian photographies we have done many years ago. When was it? In the late 2000s, we did those experiments, and we were blown away by what by what we saw. So yeah, 432 brings everything back, starts mending it, and puts you back in that balanced state. That's where we want to be. We want to be grounded. If you look at the purr of a cat, it's a very low, soothing, harmonic. That's very comforting and healing. And you know, when you go high, it's like the way we.
But how about the fact that hearing a coloratura soprano sing can just be like just so beautiful?
The what? Sorry.
You know, the highest sopranos, the coloratura sopranos, that hearing them sing can be just so amazingly beautiful.
Yeah, and even more so if they're in tuned in 432. There's the Schiller Institute in Germany. I don't know if they're still around. They did a lot of research on this, and there was an famous Italian opera singer who was showing how much more beneficial it was for hitting all the different notes, and for the vocal cords and everything when you're in 432. It's a completely different ballgame. There's the student of Rudolf Steiner, Maria Reynolds, was it, who wrote a book and about all the experiments she did over many, many decades with that, and so on and so forth. And what she found was same thing. You go outside, go higher, and you get into stress modes and so on, and imbalances. And you go back to the 432 range, and everything is a much more wonderful balanced state, much more to the heart. It resonates with the heart in the love space. So yeah.
My youngest daughter, she kept seeing 432 like all the time, like on the license plate in front of her, you know, on the clock. She was like, she was asking me about that. It was a couple of years ago or so.
Who was
I
that?
should talk to her about it.
Who was that?
My daughter, Sarah.
Oh, awesome.
He's like,
yeah, there's a lot of misinformation that's put out on the internet, and we understand why, because the agenda is not to bring balance in this realm from the powers that want to be, or the powers that were. And they blockaded all the correct info from what we understand to get this information out there, and so on and so forth. But it's a very, very interesting. A dear friend who hooked me onto this, she was completely censored to the hilt, more than anybody I've seen from the internet about all this information. So what's out there, you got to be very careful. Best thing is go out in nature and you'll know the truth, because nature is tuned to that harmonic of 432. Can't go wrong. So, you know, if you're singing in tune with the animals, you're going to be good. Whenever we go to, you know, these concerts and so on and so forth, and we were enjoying it and so on, yeah, because people are putting their wonderful intent and emotion into it and so on and so forth. But I don't know if you've ever been to a loud rock concert or any concert. The next day you feel like you're hungover. It's a weird feeling. Or, you know, if you go watch a live band that's playing loud, you know, even if it doesn't have to be, it's a very stressful situation on the physicality by being, even though you think you're enjoying it and so on and so forth. That's what we've seen, and you know, it showed up in the auric field being shattered. So bringing in 432, and it's all beautiful and wonderful. First time we watched the live band in 432, it was just amazing. The whole body language was completely different in people. It was much more loving and so on and so forth. And that band, the guy, he told me the story. We introduced it to them, and he told me a story a few weeks later or so about, I've shared the story before. They went to play in a bar in, or was it in out east here, Whitby or something, and it's a bar that there's a fight every time there's a band playing. Every time there's a band there, there's a fight. They went to play. There was no fight that night. They played in 432, and they were in shock. They go, interesting, because every time there's a band, there's fights. So they said, is this a coincidence? And then they booked it again, and they went again. There was no fight. You know, and the other bands playing, and there's fights. So it has an effect, especially, you know, when there's an aggressive, rowdy crowd, you know, drinking and so on and so forth. And then you introduce that, we can call it frequency if you want. It stresses people out more, and that's why that happens. So you bring it down to 432, and it brings the balance back into the love space, and people are calm and loving. It's just remarkable to watch. We've done pretty interesting experiments with another friend of mine who was in a band, and it was amazing what we've seen. It was, I don't know, it's hard to, you know, it's hard to, for people to believe us what happened those nights, but you know, it did happen. And I was grateful to be part of that experience and gain that knowledge, because it's so powerful. Be in tune with nature. It's that simple. Try and go the route of man telling you what's good and everything. You're always going to fail. Just like the whole thing about diets and nutrition, you're going to fail miserably all the time. And that's what happened to me, is also with going down the, you know, the path of healing. I always got into trouble listening to all the theories of man-made that were man-made. Go with nature.
Can you help me understand, like, what the 432 is, how you create that, what that means, those numbers?
Well, we measure it in this realm with tuning, with frequency, right? Okay, so if you get a, is it 432 on there? This is 144. No. 128. That's 440. I gotta have it somewhere.
Is it the one in the kitchen?
Oh yeah, maybe that's the one. I got rid of all the other ones. Anyway, these are tuning forks, right? Everybody knows what these are. You have two tuning forks the same, right? And you ring this one. I don't even want to ring this one because it's 440. You ring this one. The other one will start ringing without even being touched, just by the wave of sound, right? So sound affects us all, right? The harmonics of sound. And that's why, you know, we love to be around singing and so on and so forth. Yeah, you can go and get that other one. This is a 256, a weighted 256. This is in the harmonic of our bone structure. You can use either a 128, 256. You keep doubling it up. It's the same harmonics. It's a C note in 432 tuning. This is a 432 tuning fork. So can you hear that?
Yeah.
So you just have to put that anywhere in the body, and it just brings you back into that space very, very quickly. It's if you're stressed out or anything, you really notice it. The 128 or the 256, the doctors use it for seeing if a bone is fractured. So if you have an injury and you put that on the area, you feel pain, there's a fracture. So they don't use the tuning of 440, which is the international music standard. They use the tuning of 432, because 432 is what we're all tuned to by nature. So it doesn't work in 440. So if you ask the doctor why they use that, they don't even know, because even my chiropractor, he had tuning forks there. And I asked them, they don't know, but they just know that that's what they use. That resonates with a bone, right? So this is a 144 is a D note that resonates with hydrogen, right? So
different.
I'm not a musician, so the musician would be able to explain it much better. But you know, you when you tune a guitar string, for example, or a piano, they tune the A note to 432, right? And then they'll tune all the other strings to that, so they are in harmony. So the music industry tunes the A note to 440, and then they tune all the other strings to that, so they're in harmony.
You know, I remember you mentioned the classic music is 432. Used to be before, maybe before the Second World War or something like that, right?
No, no. The famous Italian opera composer Giuseppe Verdi used to only want to have his operas done in 432.
In the past, weren't they doing 432 and then they changed it at some point to 440?
There was no international standard. No, people were tuned.
So that, but it was more natural back then.
Well,
music
Giuseppe Verdi knew
right?
that it was the proper tuning, because it's tuned to nature. You can do some research on Giuseppe Verdi, about his story and so on and so forth. But so yeah, it's the tuning of what they refer to it as in frequencies, right? And like I said, frequencies are man-made, and when they mathematically divide it all out, what do they call that again? I forgot it all. It's been years. There's a specific way that they divide it all out numerically, and it's not. It's in 440. It's all broken up. It's not. It's all fraction. In 432, it works out beautifully numerically. So
it has to do also with the
equal temperament tuning. That's what they call it in 440. Equal temperament tuning. That's it. Yeah. So there's many types of tunings over the years. There's the Pythagoras tuning, which he used also 432, and so on and so forth. But everything's been manipulated, they've even changed how they measure the second. This was a few years back, and that has corrupted all the things that measure frequency now. So electronically, you cannot get a true 432 with frequency. The only way you're going to get it is base it on nature or the old analog systems, because they've corrupted everything, because they know how powerful the number of creation is, 432.
So something like this.
I know.
This is old. I bought this before they changed the second. If you buy the new ones, they won't be accurate.
Okay.
So, you know, if the human voice is naturally in 432. The birds and the bees and everything, it's all in 432. It's all based on that scale of harmonics. So it's natural to all of us. The vocal cords are stressed when you sing outside of 432. We've tested this on many singers, and they were blown away. My sister's an opera singer, and when I brought this information to her and told her about Giuseppe Verdi, she was blown away. And then we did some tests with her, and when she would go do her operas, she would have to warm up all day, because otherwise her vocal cords would be shattered. In 432, she didn't need any warm up at all.
I know someone did, I don't know if it was the Rites of Spring or what, but they created an opera that people in the audience started getting sick and people started fighting. You know that story?
No, but what they're doing in a lot of the classical and operas, they're pushing higher frequencies, going higher than 440. They're going to 442 or 444, and you just blow out your vocal cords. You know, a lot of opera singers have lost their careers because they're singing in these higher pitches which are not natural. It's the bright, they call it brighter, and we will term it, as Steiner termed it, the Luciferic brightness, the false light. Okay, so you push higher, it's stimulating. It's not balancing, it's stimulating. What do stimulants do? They stress us out. We want to go down back to
Nature,
the earth.
I was told that Hitler used, you'd have trucks come by with sound that would make people very uncomfortable. And then he would talk about that there was going to be a gathering in the park and people should come to it. And that he knew that the sound that was being emanated would make people look for comfort.
Yeah, they have weapons with sound. That it'll make you sick.
And maybe that's why they changed the tune to 440, because they knew the power of.
Absolutely, that's why they did it. We know why.
But they started with playing with frequencies to harm, and then they saw the effect and they changed the music.
To put the planet in chaos. That's what they want. Chaos. How does the Luciferic agenda? It's order through chaos. Is there a distorted, diabolical, psychotic mind? That's how it works. It's everything opposite of the divine, right?
I watched once a YouTube video about 432 and the call for prayers, in Islam, they are 432, and nobody knows that, right? The people are just calling for prayers. They call the prayer. There are 5 prayers, and there are, for each prayer they call 2 times, right? At different intervals. So and it's like, it's such a beautiful it's like kind of chanting,
Mm-hmm.
And it's just natural, you know, they didn't have to do anything. It's just have to they do the same thing they've been doing for 1400 years, you know.
And are the prayers like one prayer is for health and another one's for family? Is it like that? And you say it's different prayers, the 5?
It's the same call for prayer for all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Same call for prayer. Basically, you say they say God is the greater, you know, and God is the one and only, basically, and Muhammad is a prophet of God, you know,
Mm-hmm.
accepting that Muhammad is a prophet. Come to the prayers, come to the prayers. So this is what they say, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people, if they're working, they close their shops and they go for the prayer in the mosque, and then after that they go back to work, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it is.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's very nice. I mean, growing up in Saudi Arabia, it's like you know how you have like every other block you have a mosque or something, you know, and the call for prayers are on the speakers, so you can hear it from home.
Mm-hmm.
You would like there is a dawn prayer at 4 or 5 in the morning, and yeah, you can wake up to the to the call for prayer. But it's nice.
Yeah, it's still first thing you wake up, you should like get into, attitude of gratitude, try to get there. And then I have a friend who calls me every single day for like the last 18 years, sometime during the afternoon, and for us to pray together. And the first time we did that, because like 45 years ago, a really long time ago, we were traveling together and we were robbed. And I'm telling him, now you're going to see how powerful, this chanting is, somehow things are going to work out. And we ended up getting our things back. And to him, that was such a miracle. He went home and he told all his friends, this woman and I, chanted together and miracles happened. So one day, like 18 years ago, I was in a depression, where you're not feeling your love for people and you don't have any energy. And I get a call from Charles, and he says that he got a call from someone he had told that story to so many years ago. He said, Charles, remember you said you and this woman could pray together and make miracles happen. He said, can you find her now? His wife had gone into like a coma, and doctors were giving her a 10% chance of surviving. And they were saying even if she survived, she wouldn't be able to talk. And Charles could only like chant about 5 minutes at a time, but he called me all day long, every hour, and we would do that. And this woman's name was Mai, who was in that position. And we were praying for her. And by the end of the day, I had my energy back, I could feel, how much I love my family. I mean, that was so wonderful, because you could end up in the hospital with clinical depression, right? And that was great. But the thing is that when Mai came out of her coma, the first thing she said to her husband was, did he pass the math test? Because they were studying for a math test, when she had something happened, in her head. And she knew that, and she was hoping that he was still able to do that. So this guy, every single day, no matter what, will call me. And I feel so grateful, that I have these times during the day when I can like reset myself, focus on like what's really important, that thing of prayer and gratitude, and, who we're caring about, who we're loving. And yeah, I feel very fortunate to have that. And there was a time I was trying to do the Muslim prayer with a friend who came from there, and I felt something from it, but I didn't exactly know what I was doing. I did that one time, I think. Just if we just had time to do all these, all these loving things. We can.
It's great. It would be nice for all of us to do more of that at home, and practice our prayers together. I mean, together makes it even more powerful.
Yes, totally.
Together, the mother, the father, the kids, I mean, imagine kids growing up in a home where the mother and father both pray together.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
strong that, for the whole family would that be?
Yeah. Things get tense. You go into, prayer mode, and, you can stop the conversation for a while and get into the vibration, right? Of, what love is. Yeah.
Yeah, like you be in silence and just be humble to the creator for a little bit and then go back to work, whatever you be thankful. Being thankful is a big, big thing. Big thing. Praising the Lord for the creation, for us being here, for bringing us here, creating us, giving us the will to choose. It's a big, big responsibility. The will to choose our path.
And the International Buddhist movement in New York, like big leader there, comes from the Arab world. And when I was, and I hope that was politically correct, I don't know, but also when I was in college, I got a scholarship from a nun to come to American University and do graduate work, and it was supposed to be on global transformation and trying to get like us familiar with some of the brightest minds and the best things happening. And it was 3 professors, and the one professor said he was actually born in a cave, and but man, I made him crazy. I don't know why. Still, I affect people, and I'm never totally sure, what I'm saying or doing. I know a lot has to do with our voice, and if we're sounding tense or afraid or apologetic, right? That people hate to hear that. And I saw this woman, she was so smart, talking about the science of what's happening in Hollywood Beach with the king tides coming in. But people couldn't listen to her because she was so full of apology. That kind of, yeah. So yeah, it's a big part of us learning how to communicate, right? And I've seen people who got voice lessons before and really made an improvement in how easy it was to hear them.
For sure, it's an art, isn't it? And some people learn it at home. Some people are a little bit less fortunate with that,
Voice lessons for singing?
For communicating, for how your voice sounds when you're trying to get a point across, even.
Yeah, it's definitely different when you see, for example, people who were raised here or in other countries versus immigrants, for example. A big, huge difference in the confidence because it's a second language, but also different culture. So there is definitely more fear, more, with immigrants. But yeah. But also, I think the way the kids are raised in this country versus like in schools, what they're taught versus over there, there's more discipline, I would say. Over there, you can't say certain things or you can't talk a certain way, whereas here they're more encouraged to speak up, to share over there.
Until COVID hit.
Until COVID.
Well,
yeah, and then the truth came out. But yeah, there's definitely, I observe these things, it's very interesting to observe growing
and
up.
yeah, I would love to hear more. I would love to learn more. I'm just so quick to interrupt and go, and do you know that babies, they're finding that if you teach them sign language before they can speak, then they don't have to like cry and make parents crazy, because that works, when you're screaming, get your parents' attention. if you're hungry, but if they have sign language, they don't do the screaming. They don't have to do the screaming. They can communicate they're hungry or what it is they need. They're wet. Yeah.
You think they can communicate with their hands?
Yeah. That's what's happening now.
Yeah.
Everything's possible.
Because it's not so much like, I think, hungry, you're just touching your mouth, or,
Yeah.
it's not too complicated, but they pick it up fast. And yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so 432, beautiful number.
And there is 432 also has to do with like also the mathematics of nature, right? Like Fibonacci.
It's all interrelated.
For number 432, when you sum it up, it's number 9, which is a very good number. Yeah.
So I just can say, like, so if I wanted to sing and I wanted to feel like I'm in the vibration of 432, then I would go somewhere to get a tuning fork, like a drum store or something. I don't know, and ask for that and try to.
Most music stores will not have 432 ones. No, you can get them online, right?
So how can you learn
Yeah.
how
you naturally
sing?
if you're trying to sing to a song that's tuned in 440, you're going to be trying to tune be in harmony with that. So you want to bring it down a bit naturally to your own stress-free, so you don't feel any stress in your vocal cords. When you're trying to go higher, you're going to feel stress.
So how do you train yourself? Like, would you listen to?
I don't know. I'm not a singer.
Like, but would you like your sister? Would you listen to 432 music and then sing along, or?
Well, yeah. The singers, they tune to the 440 scale. Do re mi fa sol la ti do. That's a 4. They do it in the 440. So you would have to do it in a 432 scale. You can go online and look for that scale and see there's an adjustable one that you can bring it down to 432, and you'll be close. You won't be 100%, but you'll be close, because they said everything's off now. They've corrupted everything.
You'd go along with singing that is 432. This is how you train yourself.
Instruments or somebody else who's singing in that tone. Yeah. A lot of the not a lot. Some of the yogis, they're naturally in the 432 when they're doing the
Yeah.
They're naturally in that tone. Some of them are not. Some of them are in the 440 scale. We've checked them. So there's tuning apps, right? You can get an app for that for tuning your instruments that are adjustable, and you put them in 432. So then you'll see, if you're singing in that tone. So you can do that as well.
Like there is an app that measures the whatever your playing, right?
Like this is an app. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, I can.
It's in 432. So when it's hanging around the center, you're in 432 scale. When it's going over up to the right, you're in 440. Right, it's going to be waving in that area in the center. So when we're talking, normally that would be scale 432 naturally, because we're not stressing ourselves or anything. When you're singing, what are they doing? They're pushing up into the Luciferic realm. I don't know how else to explain it, but it's the Luciferic brightness. It's the false light. Unnatural, artificial, everything that is opposite of the divine. Yeah.
And I've seen in babies, you know, people like 2 years old, and you can tell like already they're affected, you know, trying to like please grown-ups. And the first time I met a 2-year-old, I think she was 2 or 3, and she was so coming from her center, she was so balanced, and it was so rewarding to hear that, you know.
Yeah, you'll find that people and children that grow up in nature, they'll be more grounded, more natural, more balanced than people in the city that have all these unnatural vibrations all around us that's stimulating us continuously. So, you know, your environments dictate outcome. And when we're living in the city, we need to do a lot of more work with ourselves to keep us grounded, right? More fasting, prayer, meditation, eating better.
I mean, it's always nice to live in nature as well.
Breath work, yeah. When, you know, living in the city, when we go out, if you go away for a few days, even not too long, and then you start driving back home, as soon as you start getting close to the city, all of a sudden you feel like a wall, and you can feel that heaviness of the city, you know, chaos. It's I don't know how to explain it. I don't know if you've experienced that. Many people do.
For a while, I studied with Joffrey Valley. It was so fun. And I got to live in Manhattan. But it was like, man, just walking down the street just seemed to take so much energy from me. It was like being so stimulated from every direction, right?
Yeah, like, you know, being by the sea and the mountains and nature and the forest. It's very soothing and healing, right? Just being in those areas. Everybody feels better in nature. Everybody. You know, and then somebody brings a boom box and destroys the area.
Or the hot dog stand, yeah.
But just being in nature, just listening to the birds and everything, you know, just chilling out and taking it all in. It's very healing. Just keeping your feet on the ground, beautiful. We need to be more in nature. You know, even in this, we're in the city. You know, just do whatever you can. Listen to stuff more of nature and so on and so forth. If you can't get out as often, we do the best we can in the situations we're in, and that's all we can do. But yeah, being in nature is wonderful.
And things where I have a friend who just wrote a book about the importance of people learning to be authentic. And I realized that I'll hold back some of the best thoughts, not just the worst, but some of the best thoughts and feelings. Like before, I was thinking one of the things that that I've gotten from listening to Rana and her voice is her love for people, that she really loves people, she really cares about people. And I get to hear that. And I always want to talk to you about like the core of this Buddhist practice is saying if there's life there, you know, there is Buddha nature, you know, somewhere inside. If people are doing terrible things and they're hurting other people, and you know, they're all caught up in that kind of unconsciousness, that we have the ability to pull out the best from people, to pull out, you know, that loving nature, that Buddha nature, that where they're all, and where I saw real healing, I probably shared this because it made such an impression on me twice, where I got to see that sound and touch can do so much to bring people back. And the one time we were camping around the Yellowstone area, the Grand Tetons, and we were somewhere where a man, not just next to me, not far from me at all, just a number of feet away, got mauled to death by a bear. Ooh. And that's because the forest rangers come and they say, just don't leave food out, you know, because they'll smell the food and they'll come to get it. And this bear got tangled up in this guy's tent to all these ropes and wires and everything. And then this guy starts like fighting this bear. And yeah, people that had left food out. And, you know, it was really traumatic because my first thought was to go help him, to go rescue him. And my friend wouldn't let me out of the tent. You know, he was saying there's people here and they have vehicles, you know, and they can scare the bear away with their RVs, you know, they can, you know, they can do more to help. So then once I accepted what he was saying, I remember I was making honey and peanut butter sandwiches that day on our sleeping bag and got some honey on the sleeping bag. And you know, you hear about bears and honey, and I'm feeling around what I could protect myself with. And I feel my friend who's full of muscle, you know, and I'm like, oh, could you just like lie on top of me for a little while? And but for 3 days, I was a crazy woman. I was walking around like looking for bears to fight. I'm studying how sharp their teeth are and how long their nails are. And finally, on the 3rd day, I was at a campfire and this woman comes over to me and she says, you were right there when that happened. And I said, yeah. And she's like, I'm so sorry you had to go through that. And as she was saying, she was expressing her love and her compassion, she touched me. I think she touched me on the thigh or the shoulder, but with the touch and with the compassionate words, it was like, all of a sudden it was like I woke up. I mean, that's what Shakyamuni said when he felt enlightened. He said he felt like he had awakened. And then all of a sudden my feet are back on the ground and I didn't feel like I had to fight bears anymore. And they say that, you know, when people are doing things that are hurting other people, hurting themselves, they're being counterphobic, something that traumatized them or scared them, you know, it's like, you know, they're going to fight bears, they're going to fight what the problem is, they're going to show. And we can heal each other so much if we can learn to be affectionate, you know, and express, you know, our more authentic feelings, you know, to each other. Yeah, we can, and it's not that hard, you know.
What happened to the guy fighting the bear?
He didn't survive.
I would. That's what I was. You got no chance against the bear.
Yeah,
Their claws are just one swipe. You'd
and
be
the
very lucky to
scream.
survive a bear attack.
And what traumatized me was his wife, you know, her screams as she was seeing this happening.
Oh,
Didn't know how to stop it. So that's what I was carrying. But I've seen the power that people have to connect with each other and keep each other in the realms where, you know, where we are loved and we are sensitive. And so you can do it with humor too. Yeah.
yeah. You know, in nature, we have to have some prudence because, you know, these wild animals, we've disturbed and destroyed their environment, so they're going to be drawn to cooked food because they are addicted when they get that taste, just like humans are.
So what they ended up doing with this bear was just taking him like way higher into the mountains. Like
They caught it.
That's what the forest rangers, how they handled that with that bear.
They didn't kill it.
No.
Interesting. Usually when there's a kill, a mauling or whatever, they to a human, they'll put it down.
Or maybe that's just what someone told me, some forest ranger told me, so that possibly, yeah.
Yeah, because once that happens, then they'll do it again. You get the taste of the human blood or whatever. But yeah, you know, bears are mostly they're omnivores, but their biggest diet is plants. Right, the majority of their diet is plants. They when they go into hibernation, though, you know, or if they're, you know, there's no plants around, they're gonna go for whatever they can get. But the majority of their diet is plants. I think it's like 70% or something.
Yeah. And then I was at some like zoo forest place, and they were showing me tortoises, and they were saying they don't have to eat. They don't eat for like, they can eat once a year. And people are hearing that. They're hearing that from, but just.
But when they want to eat, they want to eat. So, when they come out of hibernation, they're very dangerous.
Well, that was tortoises. That was talking about big turtles.
Oh,
that they were talking about who do that.
We were talking about bears on Wednesday because they're hibernating like about 7 months of the year or something like.
Yeah, how amazing! I could do that. I could sleep.
Massive bear. The size of the animal, they just go into sleep and they're not eating, they're not drinking, they're not defecating, they're not urinating for over like about 7 months average. It's a long time for that big beast. Where does it get his nutrition? Oh, it's in all the stored fat and all. Yeah, okay. If you want to, it's it's interesting anyway.
And then the toads and the turtles that are living under the sand for so much, for long periods of time. The toads for like most of the year, how do they do that? How do they not get sand in their nose and their eyes? That's what I wonder.
The Creator is amazing. They have it all programmed exactly what they have to do. They don't. It works perfectly. The whole ecosystem, everything, from every grain of bacteria, every speck of bacteria, all the way through the whole system, and everything was there for a reason, and man will never figure it all out.
I don't know. I'm listening to Zach Bush.
Yeah.
It's amazing to hear him, because all of a sudden you have a other idea of what being a human being is. We think we're like this one solid thing, and
speck of dust in the universe. Yeah. So it's we humans, our intellect believes that we can figure it all out and understand everything, and that's why I after almost killing myself a few times, I had to humble myself and say we don't know anything. Let the soul do the work, and that's why fasting has always stuck with me, but it opened up so much more in fasting, and how wonderful and amazing it is. You don't have to know anything, just put yourself in that state. These days we humans, we brought ourselves to a very obstructive state, and we need to have a little bit of prudence. That's what I've seen, especially over the 30 years. It's gotten worse and worse. So that's a big thing, that we don't drown in our own filth. This is what the saying we like to say, right? Because we see that happening. I had a friend pass away over last weekend. They went through very strong chemo, and there's that's one thing that's very, very debilitating to the physicality, but people still choose to line up and do it. Everybody has free will to do whatever they like. So it's
I had a friend that died during chemo.
Very hard to watch. Very hard to watch what it does to the body.
How long was it? 2 years after the chemo? About 2 years?
1 year.
1 year? That's quick, yeah.
They went stronger and stronger. Yeah. But yeah, it is what it is.
And what kills me is that there's information out there, and we're not sharing it enough. No, it's not. Like, there's the people that do life extension here. they came up with the book first, and then they have the magazines, and they have the Church of Perpetual Life. And, people are doing wonderful things. There's so much good information, but it's not being made available to everybody. It can be expensive. So these guys, they offer free dinner, they offer free alcohol, everything to get people to come, musicians, to come and listen to, what people should be learning, which seems funny to me, but yeah.
Where's this?
This is, in Fort Lauderdale, you have, it's called Life Extension. Is the magazine, and they have the Church of Perpetual Life. And they do that like once a month, and, they'll show you what people can do with stem cells. I mean, healings that are happening that everybody doesn't know about. It's not available to everybody.
Stem cells. Yeah, the way they do it is not in line with nature, but when you dry fast, your body makes all the stem cells it needs.
Yeah.
The correct way. The way they do it, with mixing with chemical concoctions and stuff.
Yeah,
that ain't natural.
There's lots of information out there, but they're not being shared, like you're saying. They're not mainstream, right? They're not mainstream. So for the masses, it's not heard. They have to look for them. So, and that takes time and energy, right?
Yeah.
Like there's lots of marketing for mainstream stuff, but not so much for natural, ways of healing,
There's
and it's funny because you can know something, you can hear something and learn it, and then you just move on to the next thing, and
that's what happens. You keep moving on to the next, try and find something better and better and better until you learn that let it all go and you'll be okay. That's the art of subtraction. Let it go, let it all go, purge it all out, watch what happens, watch the magic happen. We've seen it thousands of times. Just watch the magic happen. There's no denying it. You can deny it. People have denied it after they've experienced it. That's the choice of free will, right? It's the choice we have of free will. We can deny it even after we've experienced it. That's okay. That's the journey that people choose. But to say it doesn't work, it's absolutely ignorant, because we've seen it so many times. So it's a beautiful thing when it happens. Humans will eventually come around. We are, in the Aquarian age of light and knowledge, and it's rolling in fast. It doesn't seem like it, but all the corruption and evils being revealed more and more every day, for everybody to see, and some still choose to ignore it. It's okay. It's okay. Everything has to happen for a reason, but it's what's been revealed in just these last 2 years is just fascinating on how evil works and how infiltrated it is in everything.
Yeah. There's one thing to see, of course, and then it's another thing to work on the solutions, right? And that's very important. So we can just find our peace, because everybody has to find their peace. The people who don't see the corruption or what's wrong, if anything, like they don't see wrong in the world, maybe are at peace with it, and that's fine, right? They're at peace with not seeing it, and that's fine. Everybody has their journey, and people who see things and feel, you know, the negativity in the world, I would say, you know, it's time for us to work on solutions, because seeing is not enough, you know. We have to find our peace with it. It's very important for our health, right? For our homes, our communities, that we find the peace with it. So that's another task, you know. I think it's important for us to remember and work on it.
And partly what keeps me praying so much is, you know about terrible things happening, and then your children are wanting to frolic out and go and play, and wanting to warn them, wanting to tell them, I don't want you to do that. That could be really dangerous. And then the other part of us that wants them, to be in nature and feel free and feel safe. And that's a tricky balance that I don't feel like I've mastered. My daughter, and her friend are wanting to go to Colombia because they have some like free tickets or something. And and I don't know, what. So pray a lot, right? That they should stay protected. And I guess it's good to put some thought out there that they should stay alert, right?
Yeah, not the best time to tell. I
Protect themselves.
where it was. The plane got stopped because of an outbreak, and the people weren't allowed to get off the plane where it landed. Yeah, a virus outbreak.
Like recently?
Yeah. I can't remember where it was. I think somewhere in Europe.
Wow. And so the people were stuck?
Yeah, people are stuck in the plane.
Yeah, I would definitely avoid moving.
The government would not allow them to get off the plane of that country. Not the best, not the wisest time to travel. Anything can happen anywhere.
It's already very challenging in our own cities. So to move to other cities right now for luxury, not for necessity. I think is unnecessary right now. Maybe it can be avoided. I would avoid it, and if I have somebody I care about, I would recommend that they avoid it. But ultimately, it's up to them.
Yeah, do the things you can to prepare to, be without food for a while, for many months. If it has to be 3 to 6 months at least, everybody should prepare themselves with something. We keep it simple here.
It's unstable out there. Yeah.
11 Arnold Ehret, he ate, I think it was 3 pounds of cherries, right? And then he was able to do 250 squat thrusts in a row.
Grapes.
Do you remember that part of the Mikkelsen's diet healing system? Yeah. Grapes.
He broke fast. He had diarrhea, and then he was able to do that physical stunt, right? Yeah, if any lots of fasting, you'll go through those experiences when you purge out the obstruction, the vitality shoots way up. So that's what happened. Yeah. So it's kind of scary that you're not eating for many days, not drinking, and your energy doesn't go away. It's scary because it's not something people are used to,
right,
or believe possible, and that's what's scary about it. And then the monkey mind comes in saying stupid things, right? Well, you haven't eaten. Now, why are you, continuing, doing all this stuff? All kinds of bull crap just comes through the monkey mind. You're going for weeks without food and drinking, and the energy's still there. It's amazing to actually experience that. working hard, lifting heavy things. When people say it's not possible, well, when I've experienced it, they can believe it's not possible, but that's their choice to not believe it. It's okay.
Yeah,
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because many of us have done it. So
Yeah.
it's so we have to let go of what we believe is to be something of fact from our teachings. We have to let it go and connect to our source, our divine creator, and open our mind to that possibility that everything is possible, and look at how things work, in the scale of the atom and beyond. The atom is a reflection of how the universe works. So if you look at the atom and how you have the orbit within the atom, there's nothing feeding it. There's no waste. How does it continuously move?
Mhm.
You got to ask those questions.
Yeah, I would.
How do the planets continuously move? Same concept.
Yeah.
Where's that energy come from?
Yeah, that's for sure. I would.
It's an infinite source, and we're all connected to that. What are we made up of? We're made up of atoms.
Mhm.
And well, you're gonna die without drinking after 3 days. Yeah, okay. Well, so many people smash that belief system.
Yeah. And I'm thinking though, the idea of like challenging ourselves, competing with ourselves.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I remember last Friday, I said, wait, I'm going to do stuff this week, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to report to you, what I was able to make happen. And the great thing I was able to make happen was my daughter in Tennessee that I got to spend time with. I got to come help her. Started to talk to me, started to be able to show more love and open up a little bit more. So that was a bit of a miracle. It's like, I don't know how to get from here to there, but they say we've got to make like maps for each other, right? Not give ourselves menus of there's this and this and this and this, but like, okay, here's where I am, here's where I hope to be like by next week. Here's how I hope to get there. And still I have a challenge to make peace with an old friend. She's in her 90s now, just about, and we were really close at some time. And then over religious ideas, she's going, that, you're going to go down, you're doing the wrong stuff. And how to get back to where the love is. That's, and then I'm supposed to, this is real scary to try to share with you guys especially, but to try to talk to a neurosurgeon, because like right now I can't drive because I can't feel my feet. So I can't feel, I'm not sure where the brake is.
Wow.
And that's really, that was really scary. It happened a couple of times and I decided, until I figure out how to fix this, I don't, I shouldn't be driving.
Let the soul do the work.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's the losing battle when we're trying to figure it out, right? And the challenging yourself, I've done that all the time. I do it all the time. I don't challenge anything. I challenge myself. That's what I do. It's why do we don't need to challenge with anybody else. What for? Make the challenge against yourself. See how do a little more every time, a little more, a little more.
Yeah. And I'm seeing with you guys and seeing like you're looking beautiful and the love flowing, the love flowing again. They say that you should let that person know you appreciate them, you appreciate things that they do. Like make sure you have like 10 statements expressing that to one complaint. There's a chance that the love will cultivate and will grow and get stronger. and eye contact. Yeah.
Absolutely, totally.
Mhm.
That is very important, and being thankful to each other is very
Yeah, really important. And using terms of affection helps too.
yeah.
My friend,
Yeah.
Brittany, we started calling each other my love, and it was just that brought things to a higher level.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, I wanted to mention something about like the facts. There is keeping an open mind to the facts. Also, I think it's like a double-edged sword, because there is truth, and we want to just that's just the truth, and then there is of the stuff, but and the truth we all know in our hearts, when we're connected,
Yeah.
the prayer, when living the righteous way, the religious way. All religions have have that in them, the righteous way. I'm talking about like the godly religions. I don't know, but there are some crazy stuff out there, but but the righteous way of living that we all learn through ancient teachings. I think that's it's important to keep that up high, and look up.
Yeah, and through kindness.
Yeah, and
I'm still trying to figure out. People go, the devil's in the details, and I'm trying to figure out what does that mean? How, a minute ago you were talking about
maybe distraction of the devil in the details. Maybe it means that
to pull you away from
the truth,
the simplicity of the truth.
a distraction from the truth, complicating things instead of just simplifying and just allowing. But I think even that statement maybe is best, but it's unnecessary probably, right?
yeah.
Because the details can also be good, right? When you have attention to the little things, like a mother cares so much about small little things in her home or towards her children, and that's a beautiful thing too. For a man, maybe it's not very important because they care more about the bigger picture, right?
Yeah.
So completely sometimes is good, it's good to be completely bit, emotional. Women are more emotional than men. It's good, it's okay, as long as it's in a loving way, the right energy, it's okay. Yeah, let it be. But yeah, the truth is the truth, I feel, and to keep an open mind, sometimes we fall into the trap of too much information sometimes, when we keep an open mind, we get distracted. If there's too much information, lots of stimulants, it's hard to focus on the truth. And so I would say, to a limit as well, there are boundaries, healthy boundaries, I believe are very important. And they are in every righteous way of living. They are in every religious way of living, When I say religious, I mean righteous, boundaries, healthy boundaries, I believe are very, very important, because if you have no boundaries, good luck.
Yeah, like rituals and traditions and all that people have to look forward to. That's kind of gives us some sense of boundary too. It's right now I'm starting to fall asleep because I'm going to be up at like 5:30 in the morning. But it's so good talking to you. It seems that when you get that feeling, I am in the right place at the right time doing the right thing, that's the best feeling in the world, I think, when you kind of like can build on that. And I see through history, it was like people of similar minds getting together and communicating that made so many wonderful things happen.
Absolutely.
So I love you guys. Have sweet dreams.
All right, Barbara, nice to have you on.
So nice.
Thank you. Thank you. Did you have Thanksgiving? Do you have that in Canada?
Last month.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in October and you guys have it in November.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right.
Happy Thanksgiving to you guys.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Anybody has any questions, or we'll call it a night?
Good night.
Have a good night, everybody. Let's keep that plasma love always flowing, no matter what, at all costs. Ciao for now.